Chapter 49. The United States is gloating about its misfortune. Could something have happened in China? These construction workers, most of them have no education and only rely on their own strength to make a living, but they have the most honest and simple feelings. China is in trouble. Everyone risked everything and worked hard to meet the deadline. Even the strengthened body has been pushed to the limit and exceeded its load. That's why the main body of the Demon Mirror, a copper mirror with a diameter of 400 meters and a thickness of 2 meters, can be built in 7 days. Now, the third phase of the Demon Mirror plan can begin. Then, Yang Yamo took a deep breath and looked at the giant bronze mirror in front of him. At the same time, all over the country, one letter after another, orders were conveyed to various departments. From now on, all factories have stopped production and power supply. The restoration date is to be determined. The Metro Operations Center will be temporarily closed from today. The high-speed rail has stopped running. Shopping malls are closed, and all high-power power-consuming facilities are suspended. An order was given that as long as it involves the field of industrial electricity, almost all stopped functioning. The school has stopped teaching, the hospital stopped accepting new patients, the mall has ceased operations, office buildings, commercial buildings, factories, and other large power-consuming places are completely closed everywhere. In television stations and radio stations, the official announcement sounded: sue all Chinese people. Due to special reasons, all industrial electricity in the country will be diverted from now on to only protect the daily life of residents. While residents are at home, please also reduce the electricity load as much as possible, use less or even no high-power electrical appliances. Hear this announcement. The 140 million Chinese people were shocked and disbelieving at first. Next, everyone couldn't help but worry, hiss. Why did the country's industrial electricity consumption suddenly be diverted? Is our country experiencing an energy crisis? It seems that they are asking us to reduce the electricity load. Is it a monster? Destroyed our power system? No wonder I see that there is a power outage outside the community, even the street lights on the road are not working. How long will this last? When can it be restored? It didn't take long, the people found out. Except for residential areas, almost all the external power systems are shut down. No shopping mall, entertainment, without school, education. No hospital, medical care, even the traffic lights at intersections that ensure traffic movement have stopped operating. Darkness quietly descended on the land of China. The United States Department of Defense Minister, the Chosen One experiment was launched for the second time, and 5 more chosen ones were born. Looking at the information submitted by his assistant, Jobs showed a satisfied smile. Count the first batch of chosen ones. Today, the United States already has 8 chosen ones. Although the mortality rate of the Chosen One experiment is very high, inside 1,000 people, only 5 people managed to survive and became the chosen ones. But he believes that everything is worth it. Keep experimenting, he said in a deep voice. To resist the coming of monsters, so few chosen ones are not enough. Yes. The assistant nodded and left in a hurry. What actions will China take in the near future? Jobs turned around and looked at the several intelligence officers behind him. The second round of trials is now on its 18th day. The international situation is becoming increasingly critical. The United States has launched the Chosen One plan, but China has yet to take action. This is very interesting. China still hasn't announced any plans. The intelligence officer shook his head and reported, but not long ago, due to unknown reasons, the country's industrial electricity was suddenly diverted, which only guaranteed the daily electricity consumption of residents. What? Br Jobs' eyes widened. China, what is this going to do? Doesn't diverting the country's industrial electricity consumption mean giving up industrial development? To know, modern civilization is a civilization based on industry. Once an industrial power outage occurs, it will cause a chain reaction. Not only will it affect the daily lives of the people, but it will also cause the industrial system to collapse, which will not be able to recover for another 3 to 5 years. The direct and indirect economic losses caused are even more immeasurable. China, is it facing some kind of crisis? Jobs swallowed and couldn't help but think. Beyond that, he couldn't find any other explanation for why China would destroy the Great Wall and stop all its perfect industrial systems. If this is really the case, then, Jobs murmured, his expression getting brighter, God is really helping my country, the United States. There is a strong missing person competitors, their American country. He will definitely win the first place in the world in the second round of civilization trial. China, first day of nationwide industrial blackout. After the initial panic, people gradually accepted the fact that industrial power was cut off. Stay at home honestly. At home, they can also watch TV and surf the internet. But after leaving the residential area, all entertainment facilities, transportation facilities, and leisure facilities in the outside world have stopped operating. It's so uncomfortable. It's only the first day, and I already miss the days when we had electricity. I went to the supermarket yesterday to buy some vegetables, but I only got 2 vegetable leaves. Don't worry, everyone, the country is already arranging food supplies, and every household can receive free vegetables and meat. I always feel that the country is in big trouble. On the web, people from all over the country are communicating and discussing industrial power outages, directly stopping nearly 70% of the country's electricity supply. As a result, their lives and work have been greatly affected. Don't go far away, and now the hospital is completely closed, and medical care has been lost, fortunately. After the national physical fitness increased by 100%, everyone's physical fitness has been enhanced unprecedentedly, and they will no longer get sick easily. It is recommended that everyone turn off the high-power electrical appliances at home to reduce the pressure on the country. I hope the country will get through the difficulties soon. That's right. I have fish and turtles at home. I will go and make the donations right away. The filters are all turned off. Let's do some science. Among household appliances, the most power-consuming thing is the set-top box. You must remember to turn it off after watching TV. Can the air conditioner be turned on? Just stop. Many people speculated it may be that the monster destroyed China's power system, which led to this crisis. So, people everywhere, when no one calls for it, they even spontaneously organized online and took the initiative to turn off high-power electrical appliances, reduce electricity consumption. Everyone are trying their best to do their part for China so that China can get through this difficulty as soon as possible. Kunlun Mountain's Demon Mirror R&D base. A huge bronze mirror with a diameter of 400 meters lies on the top of the main peak. Below it, countless circuits extend out, leading to the electromagnetic signal generator. Now, electricity from all over the country is gathered here and injected into the bronze mirror. Under the effect of the terrifying power, the bronze mirror trembled slightly and kept making a sizzling sound. Extremely penetrating power echoing in the rolling Kunlun Mountains. Beams of electromagnetic waves are emitted from these electromagnetic generators and conducted in the copper mirrors, through the unique mapping angle, shooted into the sky. Chapter 50, Strange Phenomena in the Sky, adding insult to injury to all countries. Power Control Room. An engineer in the electric power field opened his eyes wide and looked excitedly at the rising power input curve. Turn around and look behind you, Hui reported. Dean, the power input is still growing, and it is approaching 74% of the country's electricity. What's going on? Yang Mo frowned, a little confused. Isn't the country's industrial power transferred? I remember that the maximum is 67.4%, right? Right now. Electricity input is growing continuously. Quietly. It actually climbed to 74%. Where does the extra 7% of electricity come from? I'll check it out right away. The engineer swallowed and quickly picked up the phone, communicated with the General Administration of Electric Power. A few minutes later, hung up the phone with a shocked face. He said with a complicated expression, Dean, I just asked you clearly. All this electricity is the excess saved by the Chinese people, so it is all allocated to Kunlun Mountain. Hearing this, Yang Mo also trembled, feeling a little wet on his nose. This crisis is different from the past. 002. The imitator can easily transform into anyone, making it difficult to detect. Therefore, he chose to carry out the Demon Mirror project in secret. News of the plan was not made public. I am just worried that when the second-level imitators find out, they will jump over the wall and ruin the Demon Mirror plan and the people. Obviously, they don't know anything, but he is still very cooperative, staying at home honestly, and even consciously saving electricity. A full 7% of the electricity is freed up. This is China. Yang Mo said with emotion that he never fights alone. Behind him, there are 140,000 lovely compatriots. He believes as long as necessary, countless people will stand up, fight for this country, and burn themselves. China. Cloud City. In the villa. A middle-aged woman in her 50s but very well maintained was lying on a soft sofa, flipping through a book of the classic of mountains and seas in her hand. It's so comfortable to live in a technologically oriented civilization. She stretched lazily. I turned a page at random. I just happened to find the record about Chu Ru. This China is also a bit weird. The ancient books handed down actually recorded all kinds of information about our clan in advance. She frowned and muttered, "This is the picture. It's too ugly," said. She then tore down the portrait of Chu Ruan, the classic of mountains and seas. Although they all have white heads, human faces, and 3 legs, but she really can't compliment the aesthetics of the author of this picture. That's right, she is actually one of the monsters that came in the second round. Use racial talents, you can change your identity at will, obtain other people's memories and other information, and achieve perfect disguise. Her current identity, it is Dong Yunju, the founder of a large electrical appliance brand in China. As for the original Dong Yunju, she had already eaten him. Original, according to her plan, she ate Dong Yunju first. Reuse her identity. The next step is to participate in the National Investment Promotion Conference, get in touch with senior figures in Chinese politics, then look for opportunities to replace it. Climb up step by step. It's a pity, China's industrial system suddenly lost power, all people hunkered down at home, and all commercial activities stopped. It completely disrupted her plan. The second day of nationwide industrial blackout, sudden changes occurred over China. Suddenly a huge ball of light and shadow appeared. And no matter where you stand in China, you can see it as long as you raise your head. This scene. The Chinese people who have just gotten used to power outages are completely unable to sit still. What is that? Isn't a new round of civilization trials coming again? Who have we, China, offended? We have just encountered an internal crisis. Are we going to encounter another disaster now? At Monster Research Institute, can you explain what the light and shadow in the sky are? My right eye keeps twitching, and I always feel like something big is about to happen. This group of light and shadow, mysterious and unknown people in China, are speculating that it may be a precursor to a new disaster. Anxiety, restless, uneasy, all kinds of emotions. It is quietly growing on the land of China. The third day of nationwide industrial power outage, the sky above China. Not only did the huge group of light and shadow not disappear, but it became more condensed and stronger. It turned into a circular aperture, blocking out the sky and the sun thousands of kilometers across. See the scene. The people in China are becoming more and more frightened and worried, and disaster seems to be approaching them step by step. Help! What on earth is this thing? I major in optoelectronics. It seems to be an optical phenomenon caused by electromagnetic waves. It should have nothing to do with monsters? Do you believe this? The aperture is getting bigger and brighter, and I feel like countless monsters are running out of it in the next second. At Monster Research Institute, what on earth is going on? The fear of the unknown, for the first time, it comes to everyone's mind. On the internet, the pessimism is spreading crazily. That afternoon, the official website of the Monster Research Institute finally responded to this phenomenon. Please don't worry, the general public. The strange phenomenon in the sky is caused by an important national weapon independently developed by our country. As soon as the announcement came off, the whole country was shocked. It caused an uproar. Most of the people's fears and worries have dissipated. Replaced it is a crazy and rampant curiosity. Countless people rushed into the live broadcast room frantically, asking about Zhao Ziyan, find out about the important weapon of the country. Can the anchor reveal a little bit about what this national weapon is? What on earth are you secretly developing? It can actually cause this huge aperture to appear in the sky over China. It's okay if it's not a disaster. I haven't been able to sleep well for the past 2 days. Is this important weapon of the country related to suppressing monsters? Develop it? In the live broadcast room, the number of viewers instantly soared to 60 million. Everyone is full of curiosity about this important weapon of the country, but it's a pity. As the anchor, Zhao Ziyan is tight-lipped. Let the audience tell you whatever they want, but they didn't reveal a single word. Tubing. The changes in China also shocked the whole world. It aroused discussions among netizens from all over the world. Same as the Chinese people, netizens from various countries are speculating that the aperture in China may be a harbinger of the coming of monsters, similar to a transmission channel. A large number of monsters will come to China. Has the Chinese official come out with an explanation? Why do I feel that the description is getting darker and darker? This is obviously a monster passage. The most important weapon of the country? I don't believe it. The whole of China is, you can see that circle of light. What weapon can cause this phenomenon? If you don't accept us into China in the first round, when the monster comes, China will be the first to perish. I would like to advise people in China to run away quickly and leave China as far away as possible. After seizing the opportunity, people from all over the world began to ridicule and add insult to injury. The vast majority of people, they don't believe Hua Xia's explanation and think it is a lie specially fabricated by Hua Xia in order to stabilize people's hearts. Chapter 51, Being Immortal, but doing the things of gods, how can it be such a coincidence? As soon as a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky, China said it was caused by the weapons they developed. What weapon can cause such anomalies? Poor people in China, he is so simple and has no independent thinking at all. Everyone believed this clumsy lie. Country, can you believe that easily? America. Department of Defense, the most important weapon of the country. Jobs looked at the information on the table with a solemn expression. It is different from netizens from various countries. He sees more deeply and is more vigilant. Since the second round of civilization trials, the United States made a breakthrough in the research of 12-sided crystals and launched the vigorous Chosen One project, not long ago. Gull Country, Sakura Country, etc. Corresponding breakthroughs have also been made in this field. One after another, they proposed their own plans: Gull Country's New Humanity Plan, Sakura Country's Divine Ninja Plan, White Bear Country's God of War Plan. The whole world is learning from their country, the United States, follow their footsteps and study the transcendence of personal power, trying to use these extraordinary beings to resist the monsters that come in the trial of civilization. Only China, this large eastern country that can compete with the United States, has never announced a corresponding plan for extraordinary beings. It was quite puzzling to him. China, isn't it really secretly researching new weapons? I thought of this. Jobs's pupils shrank and he murmured, "You have given up the direction of personal greatness and want to continue to move forward on the road of technology?" In an instant, he felt a chill running down his spine. China's decision, it's too decisive. As if to remind him that the United States is going in the wrong direction. No. The world is launching extraordinary plans, and you are the ones who are going in the wrong direction. Jobs shook his head violently and continued to strengthen his belief: the trial of civilization is extremely cruel. Monsters come one after another. The time left for human civilization is running out. The road of science and technology, it takes a lot of time to accumulate and settle, lay down basic theories, and climb the technological tree. If there are no predecessors to open the way, there will be no explosive leap forward for future generations. This is the case with modern civilization. The reason why such earth-shaking technological breakthroughs have been achieved in just a few decades, all because inherited the theoretical achievements of Newton, Einstein, Truss, Planck, and others, and the chosen ones, they can quickly become stronger by hunting monsters and extracting and absorbing the energy in their bodies. It won't be long, their United States will give birth to second level, third level, and even fourth level chosen ones. It will always be a small group of people who can save the world. Jobs lowered his head and looked at another piece of information on the desktop. Ability report of Chosen One number 38. Today, the chosen ones in the United States have grown in size, and a total of 40 chosen ones have been born, mastered various supernatural powers. Among them, the Chosen One number 38, after absorbing the 12-sided crystal, his eyes changed. He actually mastered the Eye of Deception. As the name suggests, with the naked eye, you can see through all disguises and illusions. 002 The imitator will be seen through no matter what he looks like. Give me the order. With the Chosen One number 38 as the core, first check the senior personnel of the United States to make sure there are no insiders. He took a deep breath and issued the order in a deep voice. It turns out, only magic can defeat magic. China. Kunlun Mountains, Demon Mirror R&D Base, Conference Room. Dean, the power input threshold has reached 81% of the country's total electricity. The electric power engineer was full of excitement and reported the progress of the Demon Mirror project. At this rate, it doesn't take 5 days, 4 days, just 4 days to complete all the energy storage. The third phase of the Demon Mirror plan is to mobilize the country's industrial power storage. The estimated time is 5 days, but people spontaneously save electricity and save a lot of civil electricity, speeds up the process, especially after the official announcement. People's power saving measures are becoming more and more crazy. Now the power input value of the Demon Mirror has climbed to 81% of the country's electricity. That is to say, the remaining 140 million people only use less than 19% of the country's total electricity value. How did they save so much electricity? Shi Chongrui swallowed, showing an expression of surprise and confusion. Generally speaking, the proportion of civil electricity accounts for 34% of the country's total electricity, but it was abruptly reduced to 19%. This is so crazy. It's very simple. Except for daily lighting, they gave up the use of all electrical appliances. Yang Mo spoke slowly, with a slightly complicated expression. The scene it also exceeded his expectations. Just because of that announcement, the people unconditionally believed in Huaxia. So, we cannot let them down. He looked at Shi Chongrui, Cui Tianhao and others, and said solemnly, tomorrow, the Demon Mirror will be officially launched. Only success is allowed, no failure. Hear the words, everyone looked solemn and nodded solemnly. Tomorrow, it is the fourth day of energy storage. At sunset, the energy storage will be completely completed. By then, China's second most important weapon of the country, Demon Mirror, is displayed in front of the world. That's it for today's meeting, let's go and get busy. Yang Mo waved his hand and ended the meeting. Everyone stood up one after another, start getting into work mode and carry out the final sprint. In the huge conference room. In the end, only Yang Mo and Cui Tianhao were left. How is your recovery? Yang Mo looked at Cui Tianhao and asked. Thank you, Dean, for your concern. I have fully recovered. Cui Tianhao patted his chest, feeling full of energy. Thanks to the improvement of physical fitness, his recovery power is amazing, and his body quickly adjusted itself. He glanced at Yang Mo secretly, and then stammered. I heard that the dean gave all my people an extra 100,000 bonuses. This is what they deserve. I asked them, and they all said they didn't want the bonus. They wanted me to ask you something. Cui Tianhao was hesitant to speak. What happened? Yang Mo was stunned for a moment. You don't want such a good thing as bonus money? Can you engrave their names on the Demon Mirror? Cui Tianhao swallowed and carefully observed Yang Mo's expression. I found that Yang Mo was silent. I am afraid that the more than 30,000 workers under my command will lose even their bonuses. He quickly redressed. I also know that this is against the rules. The Demon Mirror is an important weapon of the country. How can it be engraved with their names? I will go back and reprimand them and let them take the money. Who said it was against the rules? Yang Mo blared at him and said angrily. You, what do you mean? Cui Tianhao was stunned and asked cautiously. The Demon Mirror was built by these 32,000 workers. They created this miraculous project within 7 days. Yang Mo took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, for mortals, he has a body, but he has performed the deeds of gods and has become an important weapon of the country. He should be recorded in the records. Chapter 52 Seeing the light of the sun, the world will be bright. To cast a Demon Mirror, these 32,000 construction workers tried their best, day and night, and pushed their bodies to the limit. Thousands of people felt tired. This task was completed within 7 days. For the requirements. Of course, Yang Mo couldn't bear to refuse, who stipulates that mortal names cannot be engraved on the Demon Mirror. In heaven? Then the bonus, Cui Tianhao reacted, too excited to control himself. Take care of your hair. That night. Yunqing Dai in the dark night. A certain villa was brightly lit, and the lights made it look like daytime. Why are rich people so stingy? Dong Yunju sipped red wine and looked out the window at other villas. I couldn't help but complain. The place where she lives is a group of villas concentrated among the rich across the country. Each villa is worth more than 300 million. It can be said the people who can live inside are all group bosses. Expensive, but after dark, I couldn't even turn on a light. Look around, except for her villa. The other villas were dark. On the contrary, the aperture in the sky became brighter and brighter. The empty part in the middle seems to be being filled, like a smooth mirror. Huaxia Tian issued an announcement, saying that it was building an important national weapon. She tilted her chin and looked up at the aperture in the sky. My eyes flickered, thinking, is it developed to deal with our clan? After a while, she shook her head again. Their race is good at change and can change into any appearance. It is difficult to distinguish between true and false. As long as they hide among ordinary people, no weapon can lock them. The national industrial blackout continues for the 4th day. Early morning, after people everywhere get up, they habitually look to the sky, and then they saw a scene they would never forget. I saw that in the sky, the aperture had unknowingly turned into a round mirror hang high in the sky, quietly releasing light. Compare with that, the rising sun is eclipsed. People took out their mobile phones one after another, turn on the camera function to take pictures of this shocking spectacle. It's so amazing. I didn't expect that the aperture would eventually form a mirror. Is it really an anomaly caused by a weapon developed by our country? What kind of weapon is it? Brothers, look at this mirror. It seems to reflect the mountains and rivers of China, but it's a little blurry. Mirror, it's really a mirror. Gradually, people from all over the country I discovered that in the round mirror in the sky, thousands of miles of rivers and mountains in China were reflected. Everyone as long as you raise your head, you can see the mountains and rivers near you, although it's a little vague, but they still recognized him at a glance. That is the ever-flowing Yellow River, that is the turbulent Yangtze River, that is Mount Tai, the place where Zen is enshrined and worshipped, that is the winding and rugged Great Wall, that is Kunlun, which stretches for hundreds of thousands of miles. That is, those are the thousands of miles of rivers and mountains that countless Chinese people have dreamed about at midnight and have been engraved in their blood and marrow, and everyone also discovered. As time goes by, the scene reflected in the mirror becomes clearer, except mountains and rivers. It also reflected the city beneath their feet. Mighty steel buildings rise from the ground, standing among the majestic mountains and rivers. This moment, 1.4 billion people raised their heads and stared at the sky. The mood is calmer than ever before. Although the international situation is becoming increasingly chaotic, the potential crisis of 002 imitators may erupt at any time, but, at this moment, they have all been forgotten. They just know. He was born here, longer than this, the future. I will die here too. If anyone dares to destroy it, they will die. America, Department of Defense, high altitude projection reflects thousands of miles of rivers and mountains. How did China do it? Looking at the live video transmitted back from China, Jobs sat up in shock, with a look on his face, full of shock. The aperture in the sky over China turned into a mirror, reflecting the mountains and rivers of China. Just stand on the land of China, from any angle, you can all see this wonder. Maybe, it is a special technology application in the field of optoelectronics. The assistant next to him guessed, have we in the United States mastered this technology? Jobs asked with a frown, probably not. Jobs, his brows were furrowed and his face looked worried. Seeing this, the assistant quickly comforted, it's just an ordinary technology. The top priority is to suppress the monsters. China's doing such fancy things is a complete waste of time and waste of time. We in the United States, the Chosen One program leads the world and has already cultivated the first level 2 Chosen One. China should not be afraid of it. Really? Jobs glanced at his assistant and looked at the live video with concern, but noticed in the circular mirror that originally reflected thousands of miles of rivers and mountains, 11 words appeared out of thin air, simple and solid. A feeling of vicissitudes of life came over my face. Quick, anyone who understands Chinese characters, please translate it quickly. Jobs' face changed slightly, and he quickly looked at the assistants and others beside him. Not long after, a staff member proficient in 6 languages came forward. Looking at the video image, he translated, look at the demon mirror, see the light of the sun, the world, the Ming Dynasty. What do you mean? Jobs blinked. It seems to be the name of this mirror. It's called the demon mirror, but the last 8 words belong to ancient Chinese proverbs, and I don't understand it either. The translator shrank his neck. He smiled bitterly, aren't you proficient in 6 languages? Jobs looked at him suspiciously, that's it? At this time, in the round mirror, densely packed words appeared after the 11 words. In an instant, it is all over the sky of China. Quick, continue to translate, what are these? Jobs was stunned for a moment and urged again. The translator took a deep breath and decided to translate seriously to prove his strength. 1 Brain translated all these words one by one. Wang Wenzhong, Li Yuan, Jia Sanduo, Niujiu, Fei Jun, Ningyan, Kala Guzi, Zhuo Sangyu, Zhangyu, what do you mean? Jobs blinked, looking confused again. China's Zizhou. In the garden of the community. A few children were chasing each other and having a great time. Suddenly, one of the children stopped and pointed to the sky in surprise. Look, everyone, that's my father's name. The companions were stunned for a moment, they all shook their heads. Don't believe what he said, my dad said that your dad is just a bricklayer, how could his name appear in the sky? Listening to the ridicule of his companions, the child blushed and said louder, that's my dad's name. My dad told me last month that he was going to work in a secret place. He will definitely go to perform national tasks. The childish voice came out, immediately attracted the attention of the adults around me. The adults raised their heads one after another and looked at the incredible scene in the sky. I saw only the mountains, names jumped out one by one, suspended among the great rivers and mountains of the motherland. Even though it looked small, insignificant, but under the superposition of light and shadow effects, these names are like giants, guarding the mountains and rivers of 9.6 million square kilometers with an extremely majestic attitude. Seeing the light of the sun, the world will be bright are the words engraved on the back of the prototype of the ancient demon mirror.